Again.
How's the trip over?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, Julian and I flew over together, and we storylined 2 episodes. Whilst we're on the plane, so we were feeling very pleased with ourselves.
Great.
2 episodes for this current season?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the production cycle is quite tight, because we basically we start filming in October. No, sorry, we start filming in March, but we're prepping it in December. But we're still doing the post-production of the previous series. So we're basically always in some sort of production cycle
That's
through the year.
So you're doing post-production on season 3?
Yeah, we're doing post-production season 3, and we're still shooting season 2. This is the sort of the interesting part of the year, because we've just signed off episodes 1, 2, and 3. So they're in the post-production thing. We're just storylining the final 5 episodes, and we're shooting the sort of the middle section of the series. So this is the sort of the busiest time of year, basically. And it's sort of a rush now, because when we get to September, we're still airing the series, but we're still filming it. So there's this great sort of stressful moment of us going, if we make any mistakes and we don't deliver, because the CGI, the timetable for the CGI is so tight that if we don't get the CGI ready, then the episode won't be ready, and then it'll either be me or Julian on live television apologising. Sorry guys, but you know.
We appreciate you taking your valuable time to promote the show.
It's a pleasure. Yeah. So basically, episode 13 ends up. We last year we signed off the CGI on the Thursday. It went through the tech spec thing for the BBC on the Friday, and then it was aired on the Saturday. So
oh my gosh!
It's not any time.
Wow.
So there's no room for mistakes, which is always entertaining.
Well, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So have you been to Comic-Con before, or is this your first time?
I've never been to Comic-Con in San Diego, and I've read about it and I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it always seems to be like an extraordinary experience.
Yeah.
And I've been to a few in England, but they're not quite as big as this.
Yeah.
But Merlin's got a big fan base in England, so I've done a few sort of. We did one in May where there were 1,000 people. Yeah, the expo. Yeah. Which is great. And, it's always the weird thing about making these shows is you're always in this bubble of production. So you're just always worrying about are we going to film it in time? What's the storyline? Are we going to be able to achieve this? So you're in this kind of production bubble, and you forget that there's an audience and people watch the show and enjoy it. So coming to these events and when you meet fans that love the show, it's always sort of suddenly makes all the stress and angst and kind of puts it all into perspective, and it's always really nice.
I've read you originally, when you first did like a public appearance, were prepared for basically kids to be in there, and were surprised when there was a huge adult audience. Has the knowledge that your fan base is actually largely women in their 20s and 30s changed the direction or the tone of the show at all?
No, not at all. I mean, when we first started creating Merlin, the idea that all of the shows that Julian and I make at Shine is that we want an international audience. We don't make it just purely for a British audience. And so, therefore, for us, this was all about making a family action adventure show to appeal to all generations. And we always use sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark, those kind of movies, as a sort of blueprint of the tone and appeal we wanted. So we never kind of go, oh, actually, we've got a much bigger teen girl audience now, so let's tell more stories about Arthur with his top off. Which is, I mean, he has his top off anyway. I can actually get his top on him now. But we never kind of, to us, you lose the heart of the show, and the heart of the show, we always stay true to the heart of the show, and I think that if you're true to that, then your audience will stay with you. So it's not about, you always adjust the show and the script to your actors' strengths. But you never adjust the show because you're getting a certain type of audience. You just stay true to your own vision. And I think that's what we've been very lucky about with Merlin, in that the execs at the BBC totally trusted us creatively, and so we were allowed to create the show that we wanted to create, and have been allowed to do that throughout the series. So it's never sort of been compromised or watered down in any way, which is sort of, I think, to its strength as a show.
So you've pulled in a lot of different threads from Arthurian legend. So you had Lady of the Lake, you have Lancelot. Can you tell us a little about any of those that we'll be seeing in series 3?
Yeah, in series 3, I mean, we start to play more with the Morgana story. We bring back the Lady in the Lake in quite a surprising way. We're beginning to bring in the Knights of the Round Table as well. So we have Lancelot comes back. We have Percival, and we have Gawain. So those guys come back. Excalibur comes back. And we start to begin to tell the story about the Sword in the Stone as well. So I think, you know, that's the great thing, is that Julian and I have these sort of benchmark moments of the Arthurian legend that we sort of work towards each season.
Right.
And laying the foundations for that is really nice, because then you can kind of, you know, bring things back. So the fact, you know, it was really exciting to go, you know, because Excalibur is such a kind of well-known part of Arthurian legend, but there's very few stories about where it came from. So it was really exciting for us to sit down and go, right, well, let's start the story of Excalibur and make up our own interpretation of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, series 3 is a really nice balance of lots of Arthurian legend and then lots of new interesting stuff as well.
Does the fan reaction to certain characters or events change anything about, because I know you guys compare your show to Smallville a lot, and that's the thing that they've always done, is, you know, they're affected by things that fans like. For example, Leon coming back this series, was he meant to be dead at the end of the last series, or were you always going to bring Rupert Young back?
I mean, what was interesting with Rupert was that we brought him in for a few episodes, and he was actually very good. And to find an English actor that can actually walk with a prop without falling over is kind of quite rare. And as he was very good with the sword, and was able to walk with it and not fall over. No, I'm joking, really. I mean, Rupert he's just a great actor, and he was nice, and he sort of grew into the part, and so we kept on kind of bringing him back. In episode 13, we wanted to leave it ambiguous. Just because we just wanted some sort of hook. We found all the fan thing, you know, was immensely, you know, it was really good that he caused such a huge reaction, but we didn't go, oh my god, we have to bring him back because we can't tell all those fans. We brought him back because we had some good stories to tell with his character.
What about bringing back Georgia Moffat?
Georgia Moffat, yeah, she was brilliant.
Yes, she was.
Really, really good. I think, you know, it would be great to bring those characters back, but yeah, it's always about finding the right story for them, because you know, they're I think that when you get into sort of series 4 and 5, I think you can then start bringing back creatures and characters. But the trouble is, there's so many other stories to tell and other interesting things that we want to do with the series, that at the moment we're not ready to kind of bring back too many characters.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Lancelot is important to bring back, the Lady in the Lake is important to bring back. But sort of guest artists, only if we had a good enough story, and it works. But you know, we never say never to those things.
That was a really fun, lightweight
Yes.
episode.
Yeah. No, it's good, and I think that's what we love about the series, is that you can tell big epic stories. You can tell, you know, Merlin meeting his dad, discovering that he's a dragon lord, and it's a big kind of emotional, huge episode. And then you can tell one in the Georgina Moffat episode, which is sort of, you know, a Shakespearean rom-com, basically.
One more question.
How are the American fans different from the England fans?
I'll tell you later today. But there seem, I mean, you know, it's always great to have, you know, a huge fan base of people that enjoy your work. The English fans, the hardcore Merlin fans that we call Merkins, I don't know why, but they're called Merkins, which apparently is the word for a pubic wig, but I don't think that's the but they're called Merkins. You know, they went through a big phase of gifting vegetables. I was thinking, what's this guy doing?
It's charades.
What does that mean?
It means
shut up. Okay.
So we've seen a lot of the different guest stars that are appearing. So a lot of the Harry Potter alums come out. So how do you cast for that? Do you have somebody in mind for a role, and then you kind of go out to them and ask, or do they come like through a regular audition?
We have a casting director who is aware of people who want to do the show.
Okay.
Often we have people in mind, and it's nice on Merlin because we found it pretty easy to get anybody we want.
Right.
I think especially if they have kids, they want to do the show because their kids want them to do it. So you can get some unlikely people.
Yeah.
And yes, we probably do. Harry Potter employs every good character actor in England, so it's hard not to use people.
Yeah, definitely.
Going back to the season 1 guest stars, I have to ask you about Alexander Siddig. How did you get him, and why did you cast him as such an evil man?
Yes, I know, that was odd, wasn't it? Jill knew him and told us, he's the guy we should do it. And at first we had doubts, but once we saw him do it, he was very, very, very good at bringing. There's another thing about Alexander that's amazing. He's an incredible horseman, which I didn't know at all, and was just a fantastic bonus. So all that stuff he's rearing on that horse is him. He's an absolutely brilliant rider, which is very useful because riding and teaching actors to ride is one of our big things. I mean, our cast now are good riders. People like Anthony always have been because they've done enough. But the young cast, obviously, I don't think any of them had written at all, actually. They're now amazing horsemen. They really are. Just as Bradley's incredible with a sword, and it's fascinating watching it. So we can have them galloping around woods now, and it makes it a lot easier.
Had you changed any of your storylines to accommodate certain things that they can't do? Like if they could rewrite a scene so they didn't have to?
We've had, in the early days, we were very careful about what riding stuff we do. We do a lot more. Because you can double people on a horse, but it's pretty obvious unless you're very wide. And you can't get these guys galloping across cobblestones. It would be dangerous.
What about like for this choreographing for the sword fights? You have quite a few of the tournaments and so on.
Yeah, I think we have a specialist sword choreographer, Andreas Petrides, who does all of the sword fights. All the horse stunts are done by a French company. They're probably the best horse stunt people in the world. And Andreas teaches the moves to the actors. But Bradley is now as good as the stuntman, to be honest. And it's so quick now. I mean, they put fights together in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
Because they're so good at it and they've done it so many times. The new actor who plays Gawain, Owen, is a superb fighter as well.
Are we going to be seeing some of the women actually take place?
Morgana fights in series 3.
Is it like for 5 minutes or she get a big scene?
She gets quite a big scene.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
Which was quite a challenge for her because she's always saying, I want to fight. And then she had to do it.
How about for Angel?
Angel does some more action. She doesn't fight much of the sword.
She doesn't want to speak.
She's less. She asks us less. Katie's asking us to fight all the time.
Well, I think in Arthurian Legend, Guinevere was a little more active.
She was, and she will get there. Okay. We just have to be patient.
Because it's not that again she's a wallflower, but she seemed more physical in the story.
I think her part grows, and she gets to be a more powerful part of this. Actually, much more powerful than I even thought she would be at the beginning. So that does change. We've done some stunt stuff with Morgana now. Katie does rear up. She does a lot of horse rear, and we let her do some big stuff on horses because she'd got good enough.
Is there anything they won't do? They say, oh no.
Oh no, it's the opposite.
They want to do everything.
We stop them far more than we need to encourage them.
Really? Like, can you give us a good example?
Yes, there was a very good example recently. There was a big jump, probably a 30-foot jump into a hay cart that Gawain and Merlin had to do, and obviously it was doubled. They did the first take and Gawain jumped. I mean, it was safe because there was a massive box rig underneath, but yeah, he was in a lot of trouble. In fact, it's in the outtakes that you'll see.
But does that influence you when you think, oh my God, they're going to actually try to do this? Maybe I don't want to write that in.
We're quite careful. I mean, it's good for actors to do their own stunts, don't get me wrong, because it sells it. So there's a scene where Bradley has to come off the ceiling on a wire, and it's quite a scary stunt because you go very fast, an inch from the floor. And he did that, and did it very well, and it looks brilliant.
So you don't even hesitate when you're writing that you think, of course they're going to do it, it's going to be brilliant. Write it in.
You worry more about, there's certain things that are just too dangerous and you don't like doing. I mean, The worst stunt we did on this series was we had to do a stair fall down the castle steps. The stair falls are horrible because you can't fake them. A stuntwoman basically just has to go down these spiral steps, and it's a horrible stunt to do. And we split it in two to make the fall smaller, and all sorts of tricks we use, but it's still, those are the stunts I hate. If a guy's going 50 foot off a wall, it's curiously much less worrying because you know you're in control of it, and you know they've done it before. It's the stuff that's like down the stairs, it's really not nice.